we're going to dive into a story that's about 2,500 years old. But you know what? It feels like it was written for us, right now in our totally distracted 21st century world. It comes from the ancient Pali texts, and it's basically a cosmic courtroom drama about a trial that, well, we're all facing. So, right out of the gate, this story hits you with this, a really stark judgment. There's no one else to blame here. Not your family, not your job, not society. Nope, it's all on you. But what exactly is this evil deed? The answer is not what you think. Okay, so let's set the scene. Imagine it. The text just drops you right in the hot seat. You're in the afterlife, about to have your, let's call it, a final performance review. And the judge, this character named King Yama, he's about to lay out the case against you. Now here's the interesting part. Yama doesn't accuse you of some huge, dramatic sin. Instead, he presents 5 pieces of evidence. He calls them the divine messengers, and he claims they appeared all through your life and that you just completely ignored them. So these are the 5 messengers: a newborn baby, an old person, someone who's sick, a criminal being punished, and a dead body. On the surface, it seems pretty normal, right? I mean, these are things we might see every day. But in this story, each one was a flashing red light, a wake-up call you were supposed to answer. Yama kicks off his cross-examination. He asks, hey, did you not see a newborn baby, all helpless and new to the world, and have the thought, wow, I'm also subject to birth. I'm not beyond this. He's basically asking if seeing the miracle of birth ever once made you stop and think about your own fragile existence. And this is the answer you give every single time. I couldn't. I was negligent. This is the heart of the confession. Now, it sounds like a simple, oops, my bad, I was careless, but as we're about to find out, the real meaning is so much deeper than that. And Yama just keeps going, one after another. Did you see an old person and not think about your own aging? Did you see someone sick and not consider your own body's vulnerability? Did you see a criminal facing the music and not reflect on your own actions and their consequences? A dead body and not contemplate your own mortality? Each time, the chance was there, and each time, it was missed. Again and again, it's the same answer. I was negligent. But here's where we need to pause, because the standard English translation of that one crucial word, it just doesn't do justice to the power of the original Pali text. So let's zoom in and take a closer look. See, the real crime here isn't just being a little forgetful or sloppy. When we do a deeper linguistic analysis, a kind of insight the ancients called naruti, it reveals a state of mind that's way more active and honestly, way more familiar to us today. Carelessness. It sounds so passive, doesn't it? Like you forgot to take out the trash or left your keys somewhere. But the original word implies something you're actively doing to yourself. It's a state you are choosing to be in. The word being used, it's not about just neglecting something. By going back to its root meaning, we find it's actually about being thoroughly intoxicated. The Pali word is pamada. It comes from the root mud, which means to be drunk or diluted, and it's supercharged with the prefix pa, which means thoroughly. So you weren't just a little careless, you were completely and thoroughly intoxicated. Drunk on work, drunk on entertainment, drunk on worries, drunk on scrolling through your phone. You were just too mentally buzzed to notice what was real. Okay, so if the crime is intoxication, what's the sentence? The text goes on to describe this pretty terrifying consequence, which usually gets translated as hell. But again, if we look at the original language, it points to something much more psychological. You know, the word hell immediately brings up these images of fire and pitchforks and eternal torment. But is that really what the text is getting at, or is it a powerful metaphor for a state of mind we can experience right here, right now? The word that's usually translated as hell is niraya. But when you break it down, its roots paint a very different picture. It's not so much a place you go to, but a state you're in. It's a dead end. So here's that linguistic insight again. Niraya is made of 2 parts. Nir, which means without, and aya, meaning progress or going forward. So it literally means a state of no progress. The scary descriptions in the text, like running towards a door that just slams in your face over and over, they're metaphors for being stuck in a painful psychological loop. It's that feeling of putting in endless effort and getting absolutely nowhere. That's it. That's the real punishment, being stuck. In modern terms, It's burnout. It's that feeling of being trapped in anxiety. It's running on a hamster wheel you built yourself, totally exhausted, but you just can't get off. The horror of Neria isn't fire. It's the horror of being completely and utterly stuck. So, if the crime is being intoxicated by distraction and the punishment is getting stuck, what's the escape route? Well, King Yama actually tells the defendant what they should have done, and again, the typical translation, be good, totally misses the brilliant and practical advice he's offering. See, the alternative wasn't about being a goody two-shoes or collecting moral brownie points. Yama's instruction was to do what is skillful. The simple word changes everything. It reframes the whole thing from a question of morality to a question of competency. The word here is kalyanam. It doesn't just mean good, like not bad. It means skillful, clever, beautiful, effective. It's about developing the actual skill of creating your own well-being, the skill of navigating your life in a way that doesn't lead you into a dead end. So when you look at it this way, the whole story flips on its head. That newborn baby, the old person, the sick person, the criminal, the corpse, they were never meant to be threats. They were invitations. Each one was a perfect opportunity to stop, to put down the drink of distraction, and to practice the skill of actually seeing things clearly. And that's how this 2,500-year-old question lands right in our lap today. Being intoxicated by our daily lives, by our screens, by our to-do lists, it's never been easier. So really think about it. What messenger showed up for you today? Which wake-up call did you ignore because you were just too busy, too distracted, or too drunk to notice?